Hey, guess what? I'm leaving YouTube. I'm quitting. Don't cry, alright? Cut that out. Just think of it as like a dad who stepped out to get a pack of cigarettes, alright? You're not sure if he's gonna be back. He might be. Maybe I'll be back with cigarettes. Look, here's the plan. I'm gonna make a handful of more videos, just have a little bit of fun, and then bye-bye. Look, honestly, I came into this thing wanting to manipulate you and use you for views and money and stuff. And I still want to do that. But what ended up happening, especially with the Discord community, it's just a really cool community. I remember the first time one of my videos hit 1 million views, I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. But compared to getting a DM from one of you that says that I've changed your life, and like I've done so much positivity in your life, that's just so much more fulfilling, and it hits so much harder than views or whatever. So anyway, enough of that crap. What I want to do for my last few videos, is just review artists in my Discord. I kind of just want to give back to the community because it's been such an amazing community, and it still is gonna be. I still want to pop in and out, and that is why this video and the next few videos are gonna be sponsored by the Ethan Becker 70 community. Enjoy.
I'm 7 years old. I'm on the ice, it breaks, and it's cold. Suddenly, I'm pulled out. Guess who it is? It's my neighbor Tom. And then he gave me this card, and he said, pass it on. When in darkness, shine a light. You guys have a light? Yeah, but when I looked up, Tom was gone.
Have you ever seen Ethan Becker?
I am him.
What?
I'm Ethan Becker. Ethan he's a way of life. I'm him, and he's just kind of everywhere. That's a really silly question to ask. Salmon, they do all that swimming up the river just to lay some eggs. Think about that. I am Ethan Becker. Join us.
Alright, I'm sure everybody's wondering, why are you leaving YouTube? I haven't drawn in friggin' years. I want to work on my own animation projects, like really dive into it, That's what I want to do, baby. And also, it's for Project City. I want to focus on the students there and get to work on that, So I'm going to still be teaching, baby, alright? So just hop into Project City if you miss me. Very nice. Slay Soul Sister, mister. Alright, everything's looking all fine and dandy here. I'm just going to give you a few tipperoonies about the eyes and something that kind of helped me when drawing eyes. Alright, that's what the overall shape is for these two balls. And we can see right here, they're slightly different. All right, this one's got the oval, this one's got a couple of skinks, like this part's sticking out this way, this part's going out this way. Let's go over to some FLCL. This is one of the best character drawings I've ever seen in my life. I love it. Okay, we're just gonna call it a droop, all right? Here's another way of thinking about it, is that it's a favored side. So if I draw this sucker like that, I'm gonna take that sucker, dink it, skink it in this direction, boom, we have basically the same shape, all right? We've got two favored sides. This one's kind of poking up this way, this one's kind of pulling out this way. And that's the way you need to think about it, is it kind of being stretched out, Look, if I copy and paste it over here, pretty much the exact same thing. And I'm not saying that all eyes need to be designed this way, right? But the point of it is that there's a very clear design and a very structural structure sticking out in the structure. So what you can kind of do to that is say, well, I'm going to decide, because that's what it's all about, baby, is decision. I'm going to decide to make that side scroop over this way, and this side's gonna droop. So you got one side scrooping, one side drooping. All right, you kind of got a scroop droop there, all right? Other than that, it's a really good design, very beautiful. Not. It's disgusting. Get it out of my face. I don't want to see it ever again. All right, chubs. Let's see what you got. Very nice dress. Let's destroy it. And your self-confidence. Stilla from the Maiden. Very nice. Roast me. I'm gonna take a look at both of these dresses because I think I can hit two stones with one bird right here. Let's look at Ghibli. Ghibli does some of the best clothing ever. Miyazaki's stuff is great. The very first thing I want to notice is that you've got the knees over here, that's the point that all of these folds are gonna be kind of stinking towards. All right, so we can actually see that through here. I'm gonna kind of follow these lines through this way. Very nice structure within those folds. We're gonna be taking a look at your folds, and they're not gonna be structured. Look, even these flinky, the fold's coming down this way, it's still going underneath. Where's this one going though? That one seems to be going to the back of the thighs, you know, like wrapping around the booty. And here's a really cool thing right here. This is skinking underneath here, flowing back to basically close this thing off. Look at this fold right here. It's not going over here and like immediately cutting off like this to give the cloth a thickness. This is how Ghibli tends to add like thickness to their cloth, you know? And it's really simple. See, it kind of poofs out right there. It doesn't immediately cut off right here. That could be a very thin cloth. And it would kind of look like a figure eight if you drew through the structure, right? I think this is the main thing that was kind of catching me up with this skirt. All of these lines in the skirt kind of be slinking off into some random direction. But as long as we kind of have them tapering towards the hips, you know, that's where they're going to be sitting, then we can easily make these, the bottom of the skirt, you know, more poofy like this. All right, and watch out for the length of the body too. This sucker's 20 heads high. Holy moly. All right, Mufasa, let's see what you got. I can see what you're going for with the shirt kind of pulling up towards this arm because it's being raised. I see a lot of this line quality in your work, this kind of like wave type of thing. Okay, instead of doing wave, 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 try to do wave and then do the opposite direction, or wave and then move into a straight. Instead of the wave, 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 I did wave contrast to that. Wave contrast. In and out, in and out. Boom, I went over on the shoulder, underneath for the skink, over for the dink, inside of the arm. Then we go over on the forearm. And we come back in for the wrist. And I can prove it by going over to this here photograph. Outie, innie, outie. Boom, it's that simple. How many were there? There's 2 outies, 1 innie. That's how simple it's gotta be. This little shirt skink is going down like that swoop. Let's see what the reference is doing. Oh, it's bulging out. And it's coming back in towards the pinch. Because she's lifting up and everything's kind of flowing in that direction, right? All right, open your eyes, people. What's the sleeve doing? It's coming back down to this converging point. Everything's kind of got its own flow, all right? Pay attention. And also the neck line of this shirt's kind of, you know, flying up there as well. All right, so we know everything is pinching right up here on the shoulders, right? So we need to bulge that up. All right, but we can't have the bulge coming this way, right? Because this arm's coming back through there. You got to overlap, show that overlap. 6 sleeve, you did a good job on the sleeve. Maybe simplify some of these interior lines. So that way you're gonna be creating this actual fold in the shirt, this fold shape right here. Boom, that's the shape that you're making right there. This one, even in a photo study, that sucker wasn't even animated and it's still making an iconic shape of a pinch. All right, easy peasy, just use your references and look at references, all right? Don't be an idiot. Am I being too harsh? I think I'm being too harsh, aren't I? Well, screw. You better be better than the last artist. This is pretty sick. I dig the tattoos. There's a lot of structural stuff going on right here that I don't quite agree with. First of all, perspective's going back this way, and you did the top of the boots like this sucker. Amen to that. You've got the perspective down there. Very good. And then it kind of disappears. It's just sitting too flat, right? Too flat in perspective. You have to be decisive of how you want this belt to sit. Is it going to be like this? Or you could flip the sucker and then have him kind of more chillaxed, which then his legs might be going down this way. Think of him as a couple of tubes, and then in that case, the friggin' belt along these pants would be also following that perspective. It's real simple stuff, all right? Watch the length of the arms, brother. That's the standard length of the bicep right there. What I like to do is draw the hands and the arms or the forearms or whatever, yada yada, on a different layer. And now I can move that around to match the elbow, the length of the bicep thing. All right, and have some clarity in the direction, all right? Your shoulders, if you're lifting up to do this, do out the pose, all right? You can feel your shoulder lifting, all right? You just gotta do this stuff. Hey, Scotty, this is nice. This is pretty good for traditional art. Only one little thing that I have to say about this. Draw through. That's all you got to do. You can even do this in traditional, all right? Don't come crying that you can't do this in digital to traditional, yada yada. This arm's going up this way. It's not connecting. Grab your pencil and paper and draw through, all right? See how I'm separating all these from their different layers, kind of creating this overlap effect? And then just erase it. Juicing my lemon eyes. Well, yeah, that's what it feels to look at this disgusting. I can see what you're trying to do. You're trying to put the foreshortening of this hand in the... If you want to do that, that's cool. But the first thing I did when looking at your pose, I spent hours on the internet looking up volleyball poses. Look at these volleyball poses. Boom, these are sick. So the main thing after looking at references is that I can see one arm is in one direction and the other arm is slinking off in the other direction. All right, it's like a tension, this pull, this tension. And that tension is going to flow through within the clothing, where the head is. Look at all the tension and look at all these lines pulling back to the pinching point in this booty. The exact same is happening right here. Arms coming up, all the clothing's kind of following this line. The head is very close to the shoulders here, to the shoulder that's raised. It's happening in every single one of these references that I looked at. So whenever I look at your piece, you know, the main thing is the pose didn't feel right in the first place because it wasn't like a professional volleyball pose. Like, this might be a kid that's done volleyball the very first time. If you really want to sell that volleyball pose, just go and study, you know, some of the best animation. The very first thing I notice is that one hand is sitting down and the other hand sitting up for this tension, right? Put one hand up high, put one hand down low. And I can study that by taking these references, putting them right next to them. And whenever you draw over stuff, really try to make the opacity like where you can barely see the underdrawing. That's gonna help you keep it loose. So what you wanna do is basically like a pose like this, where they're gonna hit with the right hand. So the very first thing is we're going to keep this nice curve that you've got going to this body here. Put the head back. Look how simple that is. I just put a little oval back there. And look, I'm gonna do the shirt just like how we did the studies before, you know? Again, the only reason that I don't think this worked is because the pose wasn't a natural, like, professional volleyball pose. Like, you wouldn't see a volleyball player do this kind of pose. That's why it felt off. Slanish, very good art. Or maybe not. We'll see. Main thing, this face right here is just a little bit skinkle off to the side. See if we flip it back and forth, you can kind of see, like, kind of sitting slanted a little bit sideways. All right, so here's what I did. I kind of, like, painted over a little bit and put the jaw this way. Let's see if it fixed the issue a little bit. All right, it's a little bit better. The only other thing I would suggest is try to pick a direction, right? Try to pick a direction, even if we're looking straight at the camera, try to always have a direction that your character's looking slightly off to the left or the right. That way you can add like a little bridge, kind of like I'm adding right here to the top of the nose, and that way you know which way your nostrils are kind of supposed to be going overall. The only reason I chose this direction though is because you've got the hair coming out this way. So that's gonna give us a little bit of a hint of which direction this character's looking slightly. Hey! Listen to me. Join my Discord and scroll down until you see Roast My Art to get your art skinked. We have people still active drawing every day in this community. It's crazy. We got people live drawing. Stevie's drawing some skirts. Hey, look at that. Scroll down to Roast My Art and then I'll review it. I'm so freaking proud of this community. My next few videos are gonna be sponsored by the Ethan Becker 70 community. All right, so stick around. But for now, get out of here. Go have fun. Go ahead.
I was in a fight for my life. I'm a director in Hollywood. So he gripped my throat. Scariest moment in my life. He threw me against the wall. And that's when I turned. That's when I looked into the mirror. And that's when I saw myself. I was fighting myself. I was fighting myself the whole time. And the very next day, I joined the community. These are like life. Alive, dead, and reborn.
So have you ever seen Ethan Becker?
Seen Ethan Becker? I'm Ethan Becker. Aren't we all Ethan Becker?